yesterday I actually taught a creative vision board workshop in my home, and it was really awesome because the girls I can't talk. The girls that showed up were all very much having similar experiences in their movie where they were being challenged to take leaps of faith, and it was time to start really listening to spirit and trusting that they were being guided. And that can feel scary is what I got across the board. Everyone that was connecting had in common this thing where they feel, there's times where fear just can consume them and they feel afraid to move on, or they feel like, what if I'm going to die, or what if I might become homeless? And we kind of address that in our workshop about this like bag lady syndrome, or if you're a guy, it applies the same thing. But this deep fear that we're going to be homeless and we're just going to be, deserted and abandoned by spirit. And I feel like that's a big part of what we're healing collectively, is as we're bringing heaven down to earth and we're anchoring in the light in this physical dimension, we're actually really being tested to not be so attached to this physical reality in a way that distracts us from our higher connections with Source. And so when we remember that we're one with Source, we have infinite possibilities, expanded vision. We become the visionaries. We become the aligned global shift leaders again that are here seeing a bigger vision that is maybe not here yet physically. And so for a lot of different souls that have come here with the mission and intention for change, part of your test and part of what will challenge you in your initiations is that if you get too caught up in your so-called reality and you're just stuck staring at what's right in front of you and it looks limiting or it looks enslaving, it feels like you're suffering or struggling in that place, it's going to be really important for you to start connecting through meditation. I have passion about encouraging humans to meditate more. We were talking about that in the workshop yesterday, how certain souls that we look up to, in religion, Christ is the big hero for Christianity. And if you read about Christ, he often is referenced as leading the people, and he's retreating to the desert, or he's retreating to the garden, or he's retreating to the forest to pray or to meditate. I feel he was being quiet, and that saying, "Be still and know that I am God," is very truthful. When we embody moments, and often moments of stillness and solitude, we can become more awake and aware to our vision and to our higher soul mission. And that helps us to move forward with intention. So in our manifestation workshop, we're making vision boards, and that's a part of it, and it's fun. But there's a lot that we talked about of where there's belief systems that people have that hold them back. And so one girl had mentioned that, she's like, well, everything I want is just out of reach. And she said that a few times, and then she's like, oh, I just realized I have a belief system there. And I was like, yes. And so if we can start to catch our belief systems and we can start to release them and let them go, it's going to help set us free so that we can enjoy more like a greater expanded reality. And so for a lot of the visionaries, the challenge will be that you are in a world that has a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of control. There's a lot of deceitfulness, lack of integrity. A lot of these things, we see them. But how do we bring a different shift to this planet and not get too distracted by what's all around us? And this is where it's going to be very important for each of us to practice our stillness time, our meditation time, and to become still and connected with Source so that we can remember, what did I come here to do? I have this deep feeling, like for me personally, and I'll get into the signs of all this because that's what our focus is today. But for me personally, I have often been called to release things from my life that were not really serving my highest vision, or were not honoring my soul and my well-being. Now, to a lot of people in the movie that were okay with taking from us, we had this come up yesterday in the workshop, that a lot of these women have been in situations where people want to take from them. They expect them to do more and more and more. with very little regard towards how much they're giving. And when we've trained people to do this, we've trained people that we are their doormats. We've trained them that we'll just give and give and give. And, we won't really care if they show us on our back. That's really training the wrong alignment. We want to actually shift into an aligned living, which is where we love ourselves, where we take good care of ourselves, and we don't allow or tolerate abuse or manipulative energies around us. And for some of us, how are we going to learn that? We're going to be tested. We're going to have initiations. We're going to have life situations that show up to bring us the exact stuff we need to see and deal with so that we can rise higher. And so recently, when I had that test come, I think it was like 2 weeks ago now, where I had left a job that I had been at for a long time, and I had been very much giving and assisting and supporting in that space. But it just continued to get more and more just enslaving and disrespectful. And I was just like, this is really getting uncomfortable, angels. Like, give me a sign if I'm meant to leave this. And they did. They brought the signs, which I talked about last week. And it was interesting because once I made that leap and I started to move in more aligned directions, other doors of opportunity opened. And I saw this thing on Facebook a couple days ago, which was pretty funny, but so truthful. And it said, it says that when God closes one door, he opens another. But it's like, damn, those hallways are a bitch. And I just thought it was so funny because a lot of us, when a door shuts, we're kind of in this hallway and we're looking and seeking the light of that new illuminated door. And for some, it can be really frightening to be in that dark hallway. But if you can remember and remind yourself that you're just walking in a hallway and you're going right towards the path where you need to go. And when it's lit up, you're going to know it. You're going to feel it. You're going to see it. So if you can just walk through that dark hallway with trust and be relaxed and centered, it's going to move a lot more swiftly for you than if you're freaked out and you're stressed. And so when we come back to laws of attraction and we think about our vibrational alignment, if I am in a place where I let something go, but then I'm in deep fear of the lack of it or the loss of it, then vibrationally I'm inviting more of that. And that's not such a great idea. It's not really the best, let's say it's not the highest place we could focus. But if I focus on what I'm excited for, what I'm ready for, what I know I deserve, and even though I haven't experienced it yet, but man, it's going to be so awesome when it comes, then that is the right alignment for miracles. That is the place we want to be to manifest our dreams. So yesterday in the group, some of the women, like let's say some of them are working on calling forth their soulmate. They don't want to sit around and think about how lonely they are and think that they're not enough and no one loves me, because vibrationally that is not going to be very helpful in summoning in the love of their life. It'll be a great way of summoning in someone who will not respect them, who will not think they're worthy, and they'll continue to struggle. So these are times where we have to be very strong in our vision, and we have to keep our focus on our goal, on our desire. So I often will think of myself like a tightrope walker, and if my goal is to be over there and to experience that experience, I need to hold my focus 100% in that direction and walk there with confidence, courage, and excitement. If I start to look around me in doubt and fear and look down, oh God, I'm so high, I'm going to fall, I will really freak myself out, and then I can fall back. And that's not really going to make me feel better. So I say that for all of you because I've definitely been tested. And when we come to this topic of universal signs, I was talking to the girls in the workshop yesterday about how I really now know the universe is constantly talking to me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not a matter of if I am worthy or if the universe loves me or if I'm, supported. I'm absolutely supported. So are all of you. It's a matter of starting to listen and trust and just calm that mind chatter down. We have so much fear, and especially one of the things the angels brought up in the workshop yesterday was we need to be mindful of who we're spending our time with. So if you're a person that you're in this place of expansion and you're ready for new things and loving experiences, loving people, and you're surrounded with friends who don't really respect you, They don't really treat you with honor. They don't really have integrity. They're just always taking from you. They don't really care about you. That's going to be important to clear that. And so a lot of our evolution comes down to how open are we in letting things go. So if we're ready to let go of that which is no longer serving us, it's going to create and free up space for that which we desire to show up. So if I'm stuck and attached to this person who won't love me, won't respect me, and I talk about it a lot and I'm frustrated about it a lot, what it's going to do is vibrationally keep me there and most likely call in new people to also help play out that part. So what we want to be focused on is that if something doesn't feel right in your movie, if it doesn't feel honoring, if it doesn't feel loving, you want to go and talk to your angels about what you're ready for, and you need to get to that place where you're done with that old situation. And a lot of us are addicted to our story. We are so connected and attached to our story. So we have to be willing to drop the old story. So if you're always talking about how broke you are, how poor you are, how nobody loves you, no one respects you, stop. Like, get it out of your system, go and journal it, go write a blog about it, do something to get it out, and then burn it, let it burn,
so great.
and energetically and vibrationally now focus on all that you're grateful for and all that you appreciate. And I'm not saying deny what you're feeling. If you're pissed off, if you're angry, you need to completely honor that energy and that experience. I recently I wrote a letter to some members of my family that I haven't seen in a long time, and just, through the grapevine, I keep hearing gossip is happening ever since I left my marriage, and there's just, these people that are my blood family, but not one time since I left have they tried to contact me or get to know me or ask if I'm doing okay. Nothing. But I'm constantly catching wind of the gossip and, their opinions about everything. And so I was pissed off, and I went and I sat at my computer. First I meditated, and I was just like, Spirit, what do I need to do? And what came through was, you need to speak your truth. And I wrote this first letter, and I was pissed. And all of my anger and all of the frustration, the hurt and the pain of what I felt they had put me through and not really shown me honor came out. Now, I didn't send that letter, and I'm going to say this for a reason. You want to let all of what you need to get out. And then I go and I process and meditate more. And, okay, now how can I speak this truth that I know is in me with the highest love and the most compassion that speaks truth for myself, but also shows love and compassion to others.
Do it.
So then I go back and I'm guided to write that letter again, but this time with a focal point from love and from truth, but not like an attack and angry. And so some of you may have to do this at times where you might need to go and journal how pissed you are. I had a couple clients that they would go on Facebook and do this, and they would just be like raging and upset, and every emotional thing they felt, they would be on Facebook talking about it. And when the client came and asked me about what did I feel about their life and any messages, I told them, I really think it would be smart for you to process that privately, to go and express all that privately. And then when you have a very clear focus of what you want to say, then go and make it public, because that's when it can really help others. So like thinking back, I think maybe a month ago, I was writing about bullying and how people, try to lash out at others. Now, I had to go through the process of getting all that anger out of me for having that done to me personally. But then when I went and wrote about it publicly, it was very much focused upon humans and humanity. And even the fact that those that have done that hurtful stuff, they're hurting deeply. So there was a lot of awareness in that public post. And it's smart if we can do that, if we can process things and we can give ourselves time to release stuff in a healthy way. Then we want to move swiftly into our alignment of what we're ready for, what we want to manifest.
Doing good.
So like we were saying in the workshop yesterday, if we're focused too much on our story and it's a negative story and it's a hurtful story and we're just always in that pain and we're always in that there's not enough, no one loves me, we need to shift it, and we need to come into this place that maybe feels not as comfortable because this is new, and this might invite people that do love us, and we start talking about how loved we are. We start expressing and expecting love to come. We start getting excited for all the money that's coming and for all the loving clients that are coming and the aligned souls that are in our life, the true soul family that honor us.
Oh yeah.
Now, in your movie, there may be times where